This just in, processed meats are bad for you. I'm John Spade. This is the egg for Wednesday, October the 20th, 2010. And it's earth-shattering news that I share with you on this day. I tell you, the egg is back on track now. After last couple of weeks, I've been focused on things to do with my local city. And it's time to get into stuff that has to do with meat. From my friend Roger Kincaid. This one's especially for you, buddy. Roger's a friend of mine here in Calgary, and he loves his barbecue. And there's nothing better for him than a bacon-wrapped, massive piece of meat that he can throw on the barbecue. So, this shouldn't be news to anybody. The reality is I don't think it's going to make a big difference. But the World Cancer Research Fund, their acronym is WCRF, if you want to Google it, has just completed a very detailed review. I'm sorry, I'm laughing because where we've come. And it's actually pretty serious business. But they've taken 7,000 clinical studies that show that there's a link between diet and cancer. Let you digest that for a second. I've been talking about this for a long time now, especially since I started doing the egg. It's come up a couple of times. I talk about Codex Alimentarius, who is a world governing body that puts approved toxins in your food. Poisons, as you would. And this is all part of the whole process. So what they've figured out is that processed meats are too dangerous for human consumption. Consumers should stop buying them altogether. That's what they really think. That's what they're moving. So if you want to know what those include, let me take a look at my list. Bacon, sausage, hot dogs, sandwich meat, packaged ham, pepperoni, salami, and virtually all red meat used in frozen prepared meals. So if you take all of that, that is 90% of the average North American human diet right now. Because we're go, 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 go. We don't take time to really eat properly, to prepare foods. So we pull whatever we can out of the freezer compartment at the grocery store. We stand in line at the various sandwich shops, and we order food that is loaded with, this is, I'm kind of doing this, and it makes me laugh because I feel kind of lucky because my wife sort of introduced me to a slightly, it's not a completely vegan diet because I eat cheese and eggs and seafood, but I've moved away from processed meats. I've moved away from meat almost entirely. And it's not a guarantee that I've been able to, go around the big C, but I feel lucky that I've started on this, and it's been about 5 years. Anyways, there's a carcinogenic ingredient in all processed meats, and I think just about everybody knows what this ingredient is. It's called sodium nitrate. If you go to Codex Alimentarius, you will find that ingredient in the 600 or so chemicals that they have approved for your human consumption. Anyways, this is pretty groundbreaking because it's been released. It's out there now. And is it going to change anything? My personal feeling is that people are going to do what they're going to do regardless. The great McDonald's experiment, if you haven't seen it yet, I posted the link. An artist out of New York takes a Happy Meal, pulls it out of the package, puts it on a plate, and takes a picture of it every day. Well, we're going on to, I think it's 8 weeks or 80 days. I'd have to look it up again. If you haven't checked it out, take a look at it. It's rather disturbing because here we are. I think it's maybe close to 80 days. It's been a few months, and the meal is intact. In fact, if you look at the picture, you think it's ready for consumption. However, it's hard as a rock, looks like plastic, feels like plastic, and in most cases, it actually is plastic because, and I've talked about this as well, the process of deep frying any kind of carbohydrate produces something called acrylamide. And it is plastic. It's naturally occurring, so they don't have to tell you about it. Anyways, our food has gone to shit. And it's staggering that just now they're saying, hey, there might be a line here. The stuff you eat and the staggering, off the chart number of cancer cases in the world right now. They say 1 in 2 in the next 10 years will have it. So I want to give you a list of foods. Also, and you know what? I want to touch on MSG, but I'm going to do that. That's a whole segment. I'm going to do a whole segment on monosodium glutamate. But here's stuff that you should stay away from if you kind of want to help yourself. You know, quitting smoking is not enough. Beef jerky, bacon, sausage, hot dog, sandwich meat, frozen pizza with meat, canned soups with meat, frozen meals with meat, ravioli, Katie Kid, kids' meals containing red meat, sandwich meat used at popular restaurants, and nearly all red meat sold at public schools, restaurants, hospitals, and theme parks. God help Americans. That's all I can say. Obviously, I'm going to be talking about this lots more. I want to touch on something that it so disgusted me. It angered me, actually, for a couple of reasons. Because I think, where are we moving as a race of people right now? KFC comes out with this thing. It's called a double down. Now, if you're not listening to the radio or following news because it's become news for whatever reason, and here I am talking about it, KFC in their infinite wisdom have created a sandwich that instead of bread, they've substituted the bread with chicken. 2 pieces of deep fried coated chicken, processed cheese, bacon, melted cheese, some kind of sauce. It's called a double down. It's 540 calories of absolutely, I am fucking disgusting. And I'm sorry, if you're putting that shit in your mouth, shame on you. There's a couple of reasons. It's not good for you. Talk about nitrates in your food that can give you the big C. Guess who's paying for that? Healthcare and weighing us down. It's going to make you fat. And again, if you're getting fat because you're eating crap like that, I'm sorry, you're open to public criticism because you're I don't know if you can feel my irritation through the camera. There's no reason for a sandwich like this. And all it is it's marketing, and it just shows the absolute ridiculous nature of human beings. The same person that's eating this, you know, I'm sorry, should you be commended because you can eat a sandwich that's created like this? Shame on us. Shame on us all. The KFC, shame on you. I don't eat KFC because you have a horrible, absolutely horrific track record for the way you treat animals. And you know what? Because of that, I don't eat chicken at all. I haven't touched it in years and years. And it's purely an ethical reason. If you're going to eat chicken, I don't have anything bad to say about people that eat chicken, but know the source. Go out, buy it from a farmer. There's lots of farmers in your community. There's no reason why you can't. And get involved in the process. Kill a chicken. Kill your first chicken. And then see if you still want to eat it. If you want to eat it, then kudos to you. Raise some in your backyard. But for God's sakes, double down. What are you thinking? I told you I was going to get on my horse today. Last thing I want to talk about is plastic recycling. I don't know about your community. In my community, we have these blue bins. They're the size of a small compact car. And honest to God, it takes my wife and I 5 to 6 weeks to fill it with plastic and paper. And it strikes me as odd that people put them. I roll mine into my backyard, and when it's full, I roll it out into the alley. A couple of reasons I do this. It's easier to, just go outside my door and fill it. So there's a little bit of laziness involved here. But I really don't want to put it out there when it's got 1/10 of its capacity. There's a truck that rolls through every week and picks them all up. And, the whole alley is littered with these blue boxes that have 10% materials in it. So you think about, the concept of recycling and how it's important for the environment, and we're all doing our part. And here's a couple of things to think about. through habit, through good training, most of us will rinse those plastic containers out, those metal containers out, before we put it in the bin. It's just part of it. So we waste the water, which is, we now know it's a resource that we can't afford to waste. So we're using however much water to rinse that container out. And then we have a truck that's burning carbon fuels to pick that container up every week. And it's not necessary. So even though we think we're doing a good job, again, we don't think things through carefully enough, because we all jump on the bandwagon. We all, I think there's instinctively we want to do the right thing, but I don't really think we think it through. So recycling, it's broken. It's broken in my city. I don't know about yours. And we really have to, I think we have to really look at the way we do it. Because here's the thing about recycling. Plastics, bottles, depending on where you live and what kind of factory and the way they process it, there's a substantial amount of that plastic that actually gets turned back into a landfill because it's not cost effective enough to reproduce it. So here's my thinking. We need to start working on ways to reclaim the plastics. And my idea is, let's bring polyester back. I think Herb Tarlek had a pretty cool wardrobe going on when he did WKRP, and we can make lots of really great looking clothes out of plastic. And sure, there's a little bit of a fire hazard with this stuff, but I think it, as a fashion statement, it's pretty cool stuff. I'm going to put some links up for all the stuff I talked about today, including a really funny little video with Herb Tarlek in, just because you might not know who he is. I don't think he ever wore anything on his body that came from the ground. It was, well, I guess in a way it did come from the ground. The Plastic Suit Man. On that note, I'm going to leave you now. Bye-bye.